Hello there, I just want to say before the video starts that this is a long discussion about the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Some may say it's a bit of a rant, but I kind of wanted to have a full-on discussion where I went through everything that was going through my mind regarding the both consoles, and I kind of just hit the record button and just said everything I wanted to say. So some of you may not want to watch the whole thing. Some of you may want to watch the whole thing. If you do, then go ahead and watch that. But I want to say for anyone that's maybe put off by the length of it, to wait for another video that I'll be doing in a few days' time, which will be a lot shorter and more precise of the pros and cons of buying the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So if that's your sort of thing, wait out for that. But without further ado, let's start the video. Hey guys, Goog here, and welcome to this video where I'm talking about the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now, this isn't kind of like a head-to-head discussion where I go, one has this, one has that. It is mainly a relaxed discussion. I'm just going to talk about how I feel about both consoles and maybe where I'm heading, which way am I heading now? Am I heading towards the Xbox or the PlayStation, and just my general opinion. I'm going to start off by saying this is my opinion, and, I've owned an Xbox original, I've owned a PS2, I've owned an Xbox 360, I've owned a PS3. I've owned a fair range of, obviously I've owned Nintendo products as well, the Nintendo Wii and the DS and Game Boy and things like that. But I'm mainly talking about, those two consoles. I've owned a fair range of them. I had a PS3 nearer the, a couple of years after launch, I had a PS3. And I've got a PS3 Slim now. The first PS3 died, unfortunately. But I've got that, and I've also got my Xbox 360, which I use more than my PS3 at the moment, because mainly the only console game I play is Call of Duty, and that's what Call of Duty plays best on, yeah? So, I've had fair use of both of them, and I'm going to start off by saying, multiplayer-wise and the online experience, the Xbox 360 won that quite easily. I still really love some of the exclusives that were on the PS3, and I really have to hand that to it. It did really make some stellar exclusives, like The Last of Us, which is out today. And I think that's the PlayStation family is still going to continue to do that, and I still feel that the online experience and the multiplayer experience and the day-to-day experience that I get from my 360 does outdo the PlayStation. It was lacking a lot of features which it should have had and should have been updated. The Xbox 360 was updated visually, the whole menu system, added new features a lot more frequently than I feel the PS3 was. So there we are. Let me get that thing over so you don't all think I'm just fanboying from when I say anything after this about the next-gen consoles. This is genuinely how I feel regarding to, I've read so many articles, I've read so many people's opinions in the comment section of all these articles. I've watched all the E3 conferences. I've, taken this seriously. I've not just, listened to someone that's told me, oh, the PlayStation's going to be better, and I've just gone on that. I don't do that. As a consumer, I go out there and I look at, articles, I look at reviews, I look at comments, and people that have actually been at E3 and actually handled these things, what they actually think. That's a really important thing. So when I'm talking about it, I'm going to be talking about it, from doing as much research as I can. So that's important as well. Now, how I feel about the Xbox One. I feel that the Xbox One is something that could have been a lot better, is how I'm going to explain it. The PR guys that have been, doing all the PR for Xbox, don't know where they've been, don't know what they're doing, and don't know who's, in charge of them, because they seem to be giving all the wrong answers and are just confusing people even more, or peeing people off. I was going to say, oh, fuck it. They were pissing people off, right? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. They were pissing people off. They were telling people that, saying that we don't have very good internet connection to go and buy a 360. Well, that's great, guys. That's great. And things like that really do annoy me because, people, you're expecting people to invest $400, is it $400, $500? $500, yeah, in your console. You're expecting people to invest $500 in your console, and you can't even tell them why they should buy it. You can't even tell them, if they've not got, good internet, you could tell them, well, at least we're going to add in this feature where you can, play single-player games offline, but you just can't play multiplayer games or things like that. At least give them a better answer, or give them something. I don't know. I'm not your company. Give them something. Don't just tell them to go buy a 360. what's the whole point of that? You're trying to sell your next-gen console, not sell your 360. Yes, you get money from that, and yes, that's great. But, you know, these people probably already have a 360. You know, let's face it, 360's been out for quite some time. A lot of people have them, yeah? So, you know, you're basically, you know, this person's asked you, you know, why should I get your console instead of getting the PlayStation? I've got this problem. Can you help? I'm coming to you asking for help. And people are just, you know, the PR team and even the execs and stuff are just pretty much giving them bad answers that aren't actually going to help at all. So, got that over with. The PR is absolutely dire. And it's definitely causing a lot of confusion. I mean, I've seen a lot of people commenting, get confused about, you know, how this thing works. And, you know, when it becomes overcomplicated, people just can't be bothered. You know, the people just go, well, actually, you know, the PlayStation 4 one is actually quite simple. They don't have it. You know, they don't have any of this DRM stuff. That's simple. I can understand that. I'll go and buy that because I know where I stand. You know, if people don't want to be confused about buying because they want to know what they're getting themselves into. When you're spending $500, people want to know what they're getting themselves into. I want to know what I'm getting myself into. But I feel like there's so many loopholes. You've got, you know, even the things that they're saying that the Xbox One thing does now, you know, how it deals with DRM and things like that. It says on the bottom, you know, things could change. Hey, you know, once we bought the console, we could change that if you wanted to. You could make it worse. You know, I know in every terms and condition things can change, but it's just like, you know, I really just have lost faith and trust in Xbox, and I feel that I don't know what they're doing, and I don't understand it fully. I do understand most things, but I feel that they put it in such a confusing way. One minute I think, oh, they're doing it like this, and the other way, and then someone else says something else, and I feel like they're doing it another way. I'm not trying to confuse you guys, myself. I'm just saying I'm a little bit confused. You know, I don't want to talk too much about games because, you know, both consoles have some good exclusives and, you know, there's a lot of games which are going to be going over, you know, to either consoles. You know, you look at things like Titanfall and the devs even said, you know, there's a big possibility that Titanfall will come to PS4. You know, a lot of the exclusives that Xbox has are timed exclusives, like things like Dead Rising. You know, the new Dead Rising game is a timed exclusive. It's going to go over to the next gen. So, you know, sorry, to the PlayStation 4. So, you know, you don't need to worry about that. I'm sure there'll be some things on the PS4 that will come over to the Xbox One as well. So, you know, there are some killer exclusives on both consoles, but, you know, things, you know, will move over. You know, just because they're exclusive now, it doesn't mean they're going to stay that for the generation of the console. So, put that aside, you know, I feel that the Xbox One is giving me features that I don't really care a lot about. You know, I don't really care a lot about TV. In fact, I'm using YouTube more than I ever watch TV. The amount I watch TV these days is very, very small. I watch a few programs that I like to watch, but apart from that, YouTube is my TV. That's where it is for me. You know, so a device that, you know, has that feature really doesn't, you know, make a difference to me. And also then you've got to have supporting devices to go with it. You know, you can't just plug any HD, you know, satellite box or whatever into it. You have to have a one that works. So there's a lot of loopholes to jump through to even get that to work. And, you know, in general, the Xbox One just isn't appealing to me. And the PlayStation 4 is. You know, the PlayStation 4, right? Let's just go through that a little bit. We'll do a little comparison. Why not? I think it is a good idea now I think about it. The PlayStation 4, it is, well, working dollars is much easier. It's $100 cheaper. It's not quite £100 cheaper. It's about 60, something like that cheaper. Both consoles have Blu-ray drives. You know, that's no longer a selling point. They both have it. You know, both consoles work as a DVR. Although something I want to just say quickly there is that I'm a little concerned about whether either console will allow me to use things like my Elgato capture card in order to capture gameplay for you guys. You know, all these inbuilt DVR stuff, they normally just upload to, you know, their own servers, which means you can watch them through the consoles or watch them on their website. I want to be able to download it and edit it on my PC. I don't want to edit it on them. I want to be able to record it on my computer, edit it on my computer. If I want to live stream through my computer, I think I should be able to do that. Yes, it's great. You can live stream, you know, from the consoles directly to Twitch or Ustream. But I want to be able to add in my own things. If I want to play music in the background, I want to be able to do that. If I want to have my own custom background, I want to be able to do that. You know, I want some freedom in being able to do that, and you can only get that freedom by doing it through PC. So I hope that I can capture, because the PS3 had a problem through HDMI where, because it's a Blu-ray player, a requirement is that you have this copy protection on so that people can't copy Blu-rays. Now, the Xbox has that. There's a big chance that the Xbox is going to have this copy protection as well. So, I would like some software side thing that basically, enables the copy protection when you're watching Blu-rays, films, actually know when you're watching a film, and then turn this copy protection off when you're playing a game so that I can record it, because otherwise, as a YouTuber, it's going to be a really, really big downside, and neither consoles have a component out cable. That's the way around the PS3 one, was that you could use a component cable, which, because it's not a digital output, it can't have this copy protection. The copy protection relies on digital signals. So I hope, it has some sort of software side thing that, stops this from affecting recording gameplay. So I just want to say that a little bit there, because, if any of you YouTubers are out there, it is something you should be thinking about. And, yeah, so there we are. Both have 8 gigabytes. Now, the thing about the RAM that's quite different between both of them is that not only does the Xbox One only have DDR3, which could be argued either way. DDR3 is great for the CPU, as I've said previously. If any CPU processing stuff is going to be great. But the other thing that they don't tell you very openly is that only 5 gigabytes of that DDR3 RAM is going to be to gaming processes. The game itself is only going to be able to have 5 gigabytes, but the other 3 gigabytes is to the operating system and running all this custom all the online cloud system in the background, connecting and running all that software that has to do all that in the background. The PlayStation 4 has GDDR5, which some developers in interviews are saying that the GDDR5 is actually making it easier to make games for the PlayStation 4 than it even does for the PC, which is quite a big thing. Apparently, it's something to do with the fact that you have so much RAM, GDDR5 RAM, you have so much graphics processing RAM that they don't have to limit and try and, on a PC you have your GPU RAM and then you have your PC RAM, and they have to kind of split it up and put some of the load on that as well. And with this, because they have such a wide berth of RAM, apparently only 1 gigabyte of this GDDR5 RAM is reserved for the system resources, and because it has a small other processor as well, which is reserved to running the operating system as well. You have, 7 gigabytes of GDDR5 compared to the Xbox 5 DDR3, or a gaming PC, which normally has around, a good gaming PC will have around 2 gigabytes GDDR5, gaming RAM, and then maybe a 4 gig, 8 gig, standard RAM. So there we are. That's just something I'm hearing. Whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. But there we are. So, yeah, CPU-wise, they both are very similar. The only, I say, I'm not trying to pick holes here. I really am just saying it straight up how I feel. The only problem, I think, with the CPU is the fact that the 8-core on the Xbox One is a Microsoft custom CPU, which probably will mean that it takes them longer, in theory, to get these manufactured than it does for the PlayStation 4, which just uses an AMD Jaguar processor, which is, a stock AMD processor, which means they can produce them pretty quickly, which the way sales are going at the minute with the PS4 is definitely a good thing. But there we are, that's my 2 cents on that. Storage-wise, they both have 500 gigabytes of storage, both just standard hard drives. The PS4 is actually removable, like you could do with the PS3, so if you do run out of space or you want to upgrade your hard drive, you could upgrade to a terabyte and possibly more. The Xbox One is not changeable without you having to obviously open up your console and do it, the inconvenient way. The PS4 is quite easy to do, apparently, so there we are. There's no confirmation whether the PS4 does have external storage via its USB 3.0 ports, but the Xbox One does allow it via USB. I think there is a limit, though, to how much it allows. Cloud storage, both have cloud storage, even though the Xbox One has been pushing it, that they've got loads of cloud storage, is always connected and things like that. Cloud storage is on both consoles. It's just not all. The way the PS4 is working, if you're not sure, because I had a PS3, I understand how it works. What PlayStation Plus, which you only used to get through PlayStation through paying, is at the moment the console switches itself on at a set time. So you can set a time, in the day where maybe your internet's maybe a bit quiet, or you may be out of the house, where your PlayStation can switch itself on, check if there are any game updates, check if there are any software updates, or any games that need to be downloaded, and it will download them to the console, and then after it's done that, it'll switch itself back off. So that's quite good. I've used it in the past. I was quite impressed with it. I'm guessing that's how it's going to work with the PS4. Not being confirmed, but that's the way it worked with the PS3. So rather than being connected all the time, and you can disable this if you want. It's merely an optional feature. You can set a time on the day where it goes on to still that. So there we are. There is no required internet connection on the PS4. There is on the Xbox One. We've just been through mandatory gaming installs. There isn't one on the PS4, although we did see with some PS3 games, you did have to kind of install to get the best out of the game, so I could see that maybe happening again, who knows, but the Xbox One, to do with its DRM thing, does have mandatory game installs, use game fee. Now, some people have been getting a bit confused with this. I've seen a few people on Twitter, and I'm sorry, because I read so much about this sort of thing, when people get the facts wrong, it really does frustrate me. So if I do sort of say something maybe, a bit edgy on Twitter, replying to someone, just ignore it, honestly. It's just me, getting a bit frustrated. Don't worry about it. So, yeah. The use game fee. There is no use game fee on the PlayStation 4, but it is publisher dependent. And now what we mean by this is that the PS4 works in the same way that the PS3 and the Xbox 360 works. If a game publisher decides to put an online pass on a game, that is completely up to them to do. There is nothing in the PlayStation 4 operating system or in the console in any way possible that supports DRM. There is no system that the publishers can make use of to enforce DRM. But if they want to put an online pass on their game, that is completely up to them. Although I think it's extremely likely extremely likely that would happen. All exclusive games to the PlayStation 4, so all in-house games basically, don't have online passes, and EA recently dropped the online pass thing, and they're not looking to go back to that anytime soon, so I don't think it's something that's going to happen at all. And then use game fee, yes, on the Xbox One it does have DRM, it does have a system in place, a very confusing system, I have to admit. It's confused a lot of people about how it works, and I still don't know, and it's still subject to change by now and launch and stuff, so yeah, there is a DRM system. Who will use it, how it will work, I'm not sure. But it is going to make it a little more awkward and confusing to trade games and things like that. Backwards compatibility, none on either, although the PlayStation 4 will have Gaikai systems, which is a cloud server which allows you to stream your PlayStation 3 games to the Vita or to the PS4. And I think even older games like the PS2 and things like that you can stream. So that's pretty cool. People's internet isn't great through streaming games, I've found. If you don't have good internet, streaming isn't always the best solution, but it is the best solution for backwards compatibility. Backwards compatibility on these consoles are extremely hard to do, in the actual hardware itself, and actually, put it in the operating system to do. But the sort of using the clouds, using Gaikai to do it, is a next best thing. Even though most people may not have the internet to do it, it is the next best thing, believe you me. Both consoles have a cross-game chat. There's rumors that the PS4 one supports up to 8 players in its cross-game chat, like the Xbox 360 one does. And we don't know about the Xbox One. Maybe it has the same, maybe it doesn't. We don't know. But the leak is that the PS4 has up to 8 players, as seen in a trailer. So as it said, like in one of the trailers we saw, it said like 3 players out of 8 and things like that. So I think up to 8 players will be about right. Motion control, you can use the DualShock 4 with the PlayStation Eye. You can also use Move with the PlayStation Eye, although the PlayStation Eye and Move isn't included in buying the console. You do have to buy them separately. They're about 50 quid, something like that, $60, something like that, I'm not too sure. But they are additional extra, although I don't think it's going to be a big deal because I don't think many people are going to want the PlayStation Eye. Kinect 2 comes bundled with the Xbox One. It kind of helps justify the price you're paying for it. And yeah, hopefully some people will be pleased to use that, and hopefully it's used well. Microsoft are really pushing the fact that with Kinect 2 you'll be able to, game publishers will be able to standardize Kinect games and Kinect integration and things like this, so that, you know, anyone that's making a game for the Xbox One will know that by putting Kinect integration into it, everyone will have a Kinect and everyone will be able to use those features. It's not really, you know, a waste of time putting it in, which a lot of devs found it was with Kinect 1 and the 360. Voice commands, nothing confirmed on the PlayStation 4. I'm doubtful that will happen. The Xbox One does have a voice command. You can say Xbox on and things like that, and turn on the console. This has caused some confusion or worry that the Kinect thing is constantly monitoring your voice and things like that. You know, I'm a little bit confused as well, because the way I feel that if the Kinect always has to be watching out for that keyword, which is Xbox on, doesn't that mean it is always monitoring and always, you know, monitoring what you're saying and looking out for that keyword? You know, Microsoft's trying to say that it's not listening to you, it's just listening to that phrase. Well, if it's not listening to me, how does it know when I say that phrase? Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a bit, you know, these are little things that I don't like about the Xbox One, because it's a little bit, you know, hang on, you know, what you're saying really doesn't back up how it should work. You know, if you give me evidence to show that's true, then that's fair enough, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, you can disable things like that, I do understand, and in games you can disable Kinect usage. But, you know, I just don't like how, you know, not right their explanations are, and things don't always match up quite right, and it's just confusing. Anyway, subscription service, yes, you do have to get PlayStation Plus on the PS4 to play online multiplayer. Some people are getting confused, because I know PlayStation Plus in the PS3 was an optional extra, and you get all these good features for paying that money. It is a must-have if you're going on multiplayer. It is something you have to pay. Multiplayer is included in the PlayStation Plus service. Now, all I'm going to say is I feel that, you know, paying for it shouldn't be a problem anymore. I really don't think it is, because, you know, Sony are trying to improve the servers, they're trying to make things better, try and keep security up, trying to make things as best as possible, you know, give you the best experience you can on PlayStation Network, and to do that, they need some sort of funding, you know. Xbox Live have been able to push through so many more updates to their servers and to the whole, you know, menu system and things like this, and to the service in general, because it's a constant flow of money, you know, it's a constant income for them, you know, Xbox Live, so they've been able to constantly invest in it, and I feel that's something PlayStation will be able to do with PlayStation Plus. You know, PlayStation Plus is actually a better deal overall than Xbox Live. It's rumored to be slightly cheaper, about $10 cheaper, and for that, you get a whole host of games. You know, you do get some AAA titles, and you also get some indie games, which are going over, you know, not only the PS4, but will be going over the PS3 and Vita, whereas on the Xbox Live so far, you're getting two games for the 360, and apparently, you know, some people are saying that, I don't know yet again, it's a bit of a confusion, apparently you're only getting these two free 360 games up until the launch of the Xbox One, and then that thing won't be continuing. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I hope it isn't, because, you know, I really think that, you know, Xbox Live should be trying to give you more, you know, bang for your buck, as they say. But meanwhile, on the PlayStation Plus, you know, a lot of people that, I'm just trying to reassure a lot of people that didn't pay for the PlayStation Network, you know, the multiplayer, and now will have to, that you are getting a lot for your money. You're getting, you know, discounted DLC and games in the store, you know, some stuff like 60, 70% off some stuff. You're getting a lot of free content, and you're getting, you know, an improved multiplayer service. You know, it's going to be improved, it's going to be updated. So there we are. Both have USB 3.0 ports. Both have the capabilities of live streaming. The PlayStation 4 uses Ustream, and the Xbox One uses Twitch. Twitch is the better service, admittedly, but as I said, I really want to be able to just stream from my PC, you know? That's what I want to do. But admittedly, Xbox One does have the upper hand with Twitch there. Reputation preservation. Basically, trophies and achievements will be ported onto both consoles, so don't have to worry about that. Achievements are supposed to be more expanded in the Xbox One, meaning that there's more detail to them, and they actually worth more than, you know, some of the ones on the Xbox 360 and on the PS3 really were a bit silly, you know, like getting an achievement for going into multiplayer or things like this. So they're supposed to be more detailed, they're supposed to be more worthwhile getting. Both have wireless and Ethernet capabilities. They're both basically the same, so don't need to worry about that. Bluetooth, the Xbox One does not have any Bluetooth. It's using some sort of Wi-Fi support for its controllers. It's some sort of local Wi-Fi, which if Microsoft does try and bring in like a tablet, specific tablet controller for the Xbox One in the future, that will be a big upside to them, because the Wi-Fi protocol allows them to send a lot more data between the controller or the screen tablet and the actual console. You know, you couldn't run that sort of tablet gaming thing off Bluetooth alone. So yeah, but the PS4 does use Bluetooth. It uses Bluetooth 2.1, which is a little bit old now. But, you know, if they're not going into that market, it's not really needed. For a general controller, Bluetooth is fine. But it's just if they try and expand it in the future, they may have problems. Although they may be able to do something with the built-in Wi-Fi to the console to create something similar. Who knows? AV hookups, they both support HDMI. The Xbox One, because it has this TV support, does support HDMI in and out. So you can plug in your TiVo box or whatever, your Sky box, whatever you want to do. And they both have optical support. Neither has component support. Now, on this article, I'm looking at it says the PS4 has component support, but that port on the back of the PS4 that is strangely named component, that is actually where the PlayStation Eye plugs in. So if you want to use the PlayStation Eye, that's where you go to plug it in. So a bit of confusion there, I think. But as far as I'm aware, and I'm pretty damn sure of this, they both just support HDMI as the video output. And they both support optical as well, if you want to use that for your surround sound systems. So, yeah, there we are. Region locked. Yes, the Xbox One is region locked, and no, the PlayStation 4 is not region locked. Region locked is a big help when trying to get your consoles out there around different parts of the world. When it's not region locked, you don't have to make different variants of the consoles with different versions of the region, and then you don't have to ship different versions of the games to different continents with different regions. It's simple, you know, you sort of make one game and, alright, apart from different language variations, you can kind of ship it everywhere. You can make one console and ship it everywhere. Sorry, my voice, apart from power adapters and things like that, which are quite easy to change from box to box. So there we are. Some people don't like region lock, some people think it's a good thing, I don't know. So there we are. That's all really I'm going to talk about the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Hopefully that has maybe helped with anything you were concerned about, and maybe, helped you deciding what you're going to do. Now you know where I stand and see my opinion, maybe see it from a different view, I don't know. Hopefully it hasn't been too long for you guys. I really wanted to explain things, explain how I feel. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to fanboy the PlayStation, say that it's the best console in the world. I really want Microsoft to turn things around. The reason is because I don't want Sony to become the #1 console overall by a large margin. It'd be nice for them, I suppose, the hard effort they've put into for them to, win overall, but not for there to be a massive margin between the two in sales as there is currently. Pre-orders, there's about 3 times as much, I think, on the PS4 as there is on the Xbox One pre-orders. Because Sony will just get too cocky, and the reason I feel why Microsoft's doing all these mistakes and their PR so bad is because they're feeling cocky after the 360, and they feel that they can say anything without having any effect on console sales, and people will just buy it anyway. So I don't want that to happen. Competition is a good thing. That's how the best, are most competitive prices and the most competitive gaming experience, in terms of the games that come to the console, and the features that they keep adding in. This is all to do with trying to stay ahead of the competition. So, I don't want Sony to be so far ahead that they feel like they can do anything and people will have to buy it. So, yeah. That's how I feel. I am definitely more urged towards the PlayStation 4. The only reason, as I've said to many people, is why I'd get the Xbox One is if I get more involved in the casting scene, in the competitive Call of Duty scene, which at the minute, to do with the cast-off, I'm getting involved with that. If that grows and I become a lot more involved with it, I may have to get the Xbox One for the pure reason that Xbox sponsors these sort of events, and I will have to be on that platform. So that's the only reason. But it wouldn't surprise me if, the contract has to end sometime in the next few years, I feel. I don't think it's been renewed, so you never know. Things could change. All the exclusivity and things like that could go over to the PlayStation. If the PlayStation sells more consoles, Activision will want to go to the larger audience because they want to make the most money. This is Activision here. They do want to make the most money. They are money-focused. We can't deny that. So there we are. It's a half-hour video. Hopefully, if you stayed here to the end, you're amazing. Let me know in the comment section down below if you stayed here to the end. You're just awesome. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next video. But as always, drink tea and game on.